Hi everyone, this is Irby's little fundamental guide to using MyFitnessPal. I am presuming that you've all got MyFitnessPal, but if you've not, go to myfitnesspal.com, sign up, get the free account, and then you're ready to crack on. Once you're ready to crack on, you've signed up, you'll see this home page. So the first step of using MyFitnessPal and tracking foods is setting the goals up. So essentially you need to click on the goals page. That's going to bring a separate page up that shows you the fitness goals. It's going to show you the daily nutritional goals, the micronutrients, and the fitness. We don't really need to worry about fitness. In fact, we kind of want to leave that alone when we're doing the basic tracking side of it. What we do need to look at is the calories. So if I've given you macronutrients to hit, I'll have given you total calories as well. This bit can become a little bit difficult. If I give you 2,500 calories, for example, as a starting point, and 250 gram of those are carbs, we probably need to set them at 40%. That means we're going to set fats at roughly about 30% and protein at 30%. Now, they will change for each person based on a number of things, but this is just an example of how to use it. If you haven't been given any macronutrients, or you're not sure what those are, leave that blank for now. You don't have to worry about that. We might just be using this to track the amount of food that you're currently eating. So there's two ways to use MyFitnessPal. We can look at tracking foods that you're already eating to find a balance, or a starting point to set some calorie intakes, or we can set the calorie intakes and then follow those calorie intakes. But today we're just going to use it as a basic routine setup. So I'll save those changes. On the right side you can see these micronutrients. We really don't need to mess about with these, we're just going to leave them well alone. The only thing that I would possibly change would be the fibre, and I'd set that as a minimum to 25 grams. But as you can see, that's already been done. Once this is done, I would then save that and then move on to foods. As you can see here, the way that I've got it set up, we have meal 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and then supplements. That is just the way that I like to set it up. So you might set it up as 3 meals and 2 snacks, 4 meals, 1 snack, or you might set it up as just 3 basic meals throughout the day and not fill any of the other boxes in. If you need to change those, all you do is click on settings while you're on food page, and then this brings up some separate exercise diary settings. We've got carbohydrates, fats and protein. We need to track those. This is the nutrients track stage. I also like to track fibre and sodium, because if we see any fluctuations in weight from day-to-day basis, we can look back and it might be that you've eaten too much fibre, or you've eaten too much sodium, you're retaining a little bit of water. We can change these to sugars, vitamins A, C, etc. But, again, trying to keep it nice and simple, we need to look at fibre and sodium. Meal names, we can change these from meal 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 to whatever we want. So let's change meal 5 to snacks, and then leave the rest as they are, and then all we do is press save, go back to food diary, and as you can see, we've got meal 1 to 4, snacks and supplements in there. At the bottom, you can see the total daily goal and the macronutrients. You can see what's remaining and you can see the totals eaten. So now you've got all that set up, we need to look at adding foods into the equation. So meal 1, that would be breakfast, we're going to add food. And I had some eggs for breakfast. If I type in eggs, I've not been very specific, so it's going to give me a whole host of different eggs: cooked, scrambled, fried, eggs boiled, eggs from Asda, Tesco, wherever they're going to come from, chicken's backside somewhere. So you're going to get loads of different details. So it's better to be a little bit more specific. So we're going to type in Tesco medium eggs, and that should bring it straight up. Yeah, medium organic eggs. This then brings a separate bar up, 1 egg, 1 serving, where it's going to go to, into which meal, and the nutritional info. So we can click on that, we can look at that nutritional info for one egg and check it against the labelling on the packet. Yep, all looks in order. Click on that. Although I had 4 eggs, we're going to add 4 eggs in there. And then we're going to add that to Food Diary. That then brings that up on meal 1. As you can see, it gives you the breakdowns. That's not all I had though. I cooked the eggs in oil. So we're going to type in extra virgin olive oil. And that was Bertolli oil. And there again, it brings it right up at the top. I used 1 teaspoon, so I look for the option of 1 teaspoon. If the option of 1 teaspoon is not there, I would have just put 0.5 serving on 2 teaspoons, which in effect would have given me 1 teaspoon, but that's just a long-winded way around it. Again, add that to Food Diary. And I had a banana as well. So I'm going to type in banana. And that was a Dole banana. And that's not a banana that don't work. It's just the make of banana. Right, okay. So yeah, there you go. Dole banana, 1 medium banana, 1 serving. It's going into meal 1. Add to Food Diary. Job done. So you just do that with all your foods for the rest of the day. And then at the bottom you can see the totals that you've eaten so far. You can see the daily goals, which have been set out of it for the said day. And you can see what's remaining. You can also see what food has what macronutrients individually in there. And you can see that if I'd forgot about adding the olive oil in there, even though it's only 1 teaspoon, there's still 60 calories there. So it's quite important to track everything. Right, so we've looked at entering foods. Now we need to look at coming in a little bit more technical in understanding the fresh and the raw versions of foods. So in meal 2, we're going to take chicken for an example. We're going to say that we're going to have chicken for lunch, sorry, meal 2. So I'm just going to type in chicken breast. So remember what we mentioned about being specific? It's going to give you loads and loads of options. Smoked chicken breast, pesto chicken breast, all that kind of stuff. But we just want to keep it nice and simple. So we're looking for chicken breast raw. The USDA are generally the more accurate ones. So it's the United States data. So for this chicken breast here, the raw version, it says 1 serving, 1 gram. Now we want to look at 100 grams, but it's not in there. So we're going to have to give that 100 servings. 100 servings of 1 gram still equates to 100 grams. We're going to click on nutritional info. That gives us 23 grams of protein. Right, that sounds about right. Between 21 and 22, 23. So I'm going to add that into my Food Diary. I'm also going to add chicken breast cooked, and we'll type in USDA. There we go. Problem is now it's given us in ounces, so we need to find the gram version. So we've gone to 1 gram. We're going to type in 100 again, so we've got the grammage info. $100, not 1,000. So as you can see, the nutritional intake has changed hugely. So the protein's changed. Now we're going to add that in there. Now the reason that that's changed is because the raw weight versus the cooked weight would be a different size. So if you get 100 gram of cooked chicken breast, it's going to be a different size to 100 gram of raw chicken breast. Now when you cook chicken, it shrinks and it gets lighter. So essentially 100 gram of cooked chicken is more than 100 gram of raw cooked chicken. So that's why you get the difference. So it's important to look at writing in fresh foods against cooked foods and becoming a little bit more specific in your approach to tracking. So what you may think is that MyFitnessPal is quite time consuming, it's difficult to track, and it takes a lot of time up. Now, yeah, essentially it can be, but if you're eating some foods on a regular basis, you'll have something called frequent foods in there. Hopefully, you will have a good balanced diet. So there'll be plenty of different variations in there. So once you've built a database of foods up, you can literally just go back and it'll take no time at all to add those foods in there. So if we look at adding a food, I've clicked on meal one, it's just an example. So you can see that these are some of the foods that I've accumulated. So let's look at adding Waitrose lean lamb mince at 10%. It's on a setting of 100 grams. If I'm going to have 200 grams of that, I'll just change that to 200 and I'll just tick it. If I'm going to cook that in some ghee, 1 teaspoon of ghee, I'll just click that. If I'm going to have some peppers with that, sweet yellow raw peppers, I might have 1 large pepper, one of those, click on that, and then it'll say add checked. You just click on add checked. When it's done thinking about it, it then shows you there. Right, okay. Yeah, I've got that wrong. It's saying 20,000 grams of lean lamb. So all we do is just click on that. If you ever get a mistake, just click on it, change it to what it needs to be, resave it. And then as you can see, Waitrose lean lamb, 200 grams, 20 gram of fat, 38 gram of protein, 1 sweet pepper, 1 tablespoon of ghee. So it's just really easy just to add and implement stuff in there. Once you've built a database of foods, it's going to take no time at all. Eating out. Now, this is where people slip up big time. Rather than tracking anything, they will just kind of go, right, yeah, I'm not sure what that is. I'm not going to be able to track it accurately, so I'm just going to forget about it. So you can easily put 1,000 calories away without realising. So I'm going to click on meal 4. I'm going to use meal 4 as an example. I'm going to go to TGI Fridays and I'm going to have, I don't know, beef ribs. I'm not going anywhere if I don't learn to spell properly. TGI Fridays, beef ribs. You don't have to do this when you're out. You can remember what you've had. Do it when you get home, or plan the menu before you go away. So we've got Jack Daniel's ribs. I'm going to have 1 rack because I'm nice and greedy. Nutritional information. So you can see that there's 73 gram of fat in there, 154 grams of carbs, 76 gram of protein. Check that against maybe the barcode on the menu, or yeah, there's a few options to do that. Let's have a look what else there is. Steak and ribs. So there's a few options from TGI Fridays. If I wanted steak and chips from somewhere, I type steak and chips in. And then look, we've got 8-ounce steak and chips Wetherspoons. We'll click on that. And as you can see here, this is quite a good example. It just says 842 calories. There's no fats in there, there's no protein, there's no carbs. So I would disuse that. I would disregard that because that's not accurate. One easy way of doing it would be to type in steak. Or if you look at a food and you're quite good at counting portion sizes, you might look at a piece of steak and think, right, that piece of steak's 200 grams. It's got about 30 grams of fat in there. So you can type in fat macros. And then that will give you fat macro, 1 gram, 9 calories. There's 9 calories to a gram of fats. If you think there's 30 grams of fat there, you're going to type in 30 servings of 1 gram of fat. You're going to add that to your diary. As you can see, it's added your 30 grams of fat in there. You could do the same with protein. So a 200 gram piece of rump might have 45 gram of protein-ish. So you might type in protein, macros. This is where experience comes into it. There we are, proteins, 1 gram, 4 calories. 4 calories to a gram of protein. I'm going to type in 45, add to diary. That's going to give you 45 gram of protein. Then if you have some chips, you know what a rough size jacket potato looks like. If it's a 500 gram jacket potato chopped up into chips, again you only have to roughly calculate it. It's better to over calculate than under calculate, and that is how you guesstimate food and eat out. Gents, that is a fundamental guide to using MyFitnessPal. If at any stage there's certain things that you need to delete, you can just click on the red dash and that'll remove them from whichever meal that you select. And essentially it's quite easy to use, and that's the beginner's guide. So have fun. Any issues, let me know.